Hi, and welcome to the Bulgarian edition of the CE Fintech Tour. And my co-host for today is Michael Mihaylov from IR Solutions, a Bulgarian colleague and expert and an overall nice guy. So you're very welcome. Very happy to have my co-host today be you.
Hello, David.
Hi. We're basically going to, the structure of the event is we're going to have a overview from the Bulgarian Fintech Association about Bulgaria, about the situation in Bulgaria. And then we will have some esteemed panelists to have a conversation on the Bulgarian ecosystem. So, Michael?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be together with you today, David, and with the other colleagues from the Bulgarian Fintech ecosystem. Today with us is Svetoslav Dimitrov, who is with the Bulgarian Fintech Association. He will give us more detailed information about the ecosystem, the Fintech ecosystem. He's one of the founders of the Bulgarian Fintech Association, so he knows the whole history and development of the Bulgarian Fintech sector in the last years. Thank you for joining us, Svetoslav. So please share more about the Bulgarian Fintech Association and the members here.
So the association is established almost 8 years ago, and since that time, our idea was to bring all the ecosystem together, to make this ecosystem works well. Since that time, we managed to bring in the association not only the business, but also we invited and managed to bring some of the state stakeholders, also the banks. We also have universities in our ecosystem, which is very important for us, and also the part of the VC funds. So we could say that the Bulgarian ecosystem is a vital, real existing and vital thing. What we see is that for this 8 years, from 10 to 15 companies in the very beginning, now we've got something like 150 companies working in the fintech on the fintech topics, and this is excluding the servicing companies which provide services to the pure fintech companies. In our association, we've got about 80 members who are part of the ecosystem. Part of the associations, as I said, we've got banks, we've got universities, and of course business there. At least in Bulgaria, the state authorities, they do not include themselves in such type of, officially in such type of networks, but we've got established and a good cooperation with the Ministry of Finance, with the Ministry of Economy, with the Bulgarian National Bank, with the supervisors on anti-money laundering supervisor, etc., etc. So saying that, we see that Sofia, particularly Sofia, is becoming a center of the fintech not only for Bulgaria but also for other regional countries in the region. This year we managed to expand our activities and to try to make more visible other cities in Bulgaria which have their local ecosystem, part of course of the big one, but from our point of view, they were not so visible abroad. And for that year, we created many activities related to these cities to make the companies there, mostly the business, to be more active and to enjoy and use all the activities of the ecosystem. As an association, we've got few main pillars, and one of these pillars is, of course, regulation is always there. But one of the most important pillars for us, this is digital education. In order to have proper business, fintech business, you should have people with knowledge. I mean, your user should be with enough knowledge to use all the services. That's why we support and Bulgarian Fintech Association, together with the Sofia University, we were the first who created the master in fintech at the Sofia University. Not now, but during the last years, we also established a similar programs in other universities in Bulgaria. We work very closely with the Ministry of Education in Bulgaria in order to support them and to create a special program for the schools and colleges where the children from the let's say early stage start understanding the financial system and usage of the finances and everything that is necessary for a modern person to know about money and the financial system. We are also part of the founders of European EDFA, is a European Digital Finance Association, and we are one of the most active players and member of the association as well. This gives us the chance to express our opinion of our members directly to the activities which are coming from the European Commission, especially with the regulations, which of course is again additional value to everyone who is part of our ecosystem. In general, this is what I could say for our ecosystem activities, but of course, ask.
Thank you very much.
That's excellent. But what about the country of Bulgaria itself? How's the economy doing there? How's the country doing? The fintech ecosystem in Romania and Bulgaria, I mean.
Fintech ecosystem definitely doing very well. This is one of the sectors in Bulgarian economy which is growing every year by significant percentages. And let's call it like that. There is a software part of the Bulgarian economy which is making something like 10% or even a little bit more than 10% of the annual GDP, and fintech is a part of that business. So we are happy to be part of the growing economy of Bulgaria. As a country, Bulgaria is doing on an annual basis is doing a little bit better than countries in Western Europe, but I know that there are also other countries in mainly the central and eastern part which are doing more or less the same. Our economy is growing. This is very good for us, and even being the poorest country in the EU, we are really reaching the medium levels in a very high speed. This is what I would say, and this is really visible during the last 5-6 years.
Excellent.
Thank you. Probably we should present the other guests that we have today with us. David?
Excellent. Yeah, we have some esteemed panelists brought in from Bulgaria, which you would think is not a powerhouse of fintech and tech, but surprisingly it actually is, and there's a lot of bright and smart people coming out of there. Since you're from Bulgaria and you're my co-host, I would like you to introduce these people one by one. So Go ahead, please name them and say something about them.
Yeah, together with us is also Stoyanov, who is part of Bulgarian fintech ecosystem as a CEO of PayMan, a Bulgarian EMI institution. Jordan have broad experience in financial area, being part of banking industry, and not only. He knows the ecosystem also very well, being part of one of the leading VC funds in Bulgaria. So I'm glad that today Jordan Stoyanov is with us. The other member of our team today is Ivelin Kamburov, who is CEO of Credissimo, the leading non-bank financial institution. Ivelin is an experienced financial guy. So if you want somebody he's part of the financial ecosystem for many years and part of Bulgarian Fintech Association. We have also Nikolay Lazarov, who is experienced banker. Nikolay has more than 20 years in the banking industry, working for many years and being responsible not only for the retail business in the bank industry, but for the digitalization process. Since now he's working as independent consultant in this area. And Ivan Ivanov is the head of retail of Bulgarian American Bank, also an experienced banker. Who is responsible for the retail business currently in Bulgarian American Credit Bank. So these are the people who are today with us today.
Excellent, excellent.
Actually, yeah. So we can continue. Probably there is some issue currently with Ivan, but he will join us probably later, so we can continue.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, let's kick it off.
Thank you for all that you spare your time with us and share. I hope your insights about the topics we want to discuss and to see how Bulgaria is staying on the market, in the fintech market, and what are the topics that are currently concerning the fintech industry in Bulgaria. David, please, it's up to you, being the host of the event today.
Well, you mentioned that the Eurozone is a hot topic this moment. It's come in Bulgaria. So why don't we kick off with that? So who wants to be the first one to pick up that topic, this hot potato? Who wants to be the first one? Ivelin, Credissimo, this is going to affect you a lot, obviously.
Okay, so thanks for the invitation to join this webinar. It's really great opportunity to have this chat with all of you guys. Obviously, the topic with the euro is really hot, and we can see it over the news probably every day now. There is a lot of debate here in our country, and while we as business probably consider that it's the right move to do so, still we see a kind of a polarity in the society, as probably there is not much information, or probably the information campaign was a bit later than what it used to be, and people tend to have some fears growing up and taking some negative influences. But obviously, in terms of business, we all consider it will be a very positive move for everyone, and the benefits will be not only the everyday transactional experience that we all have. We will eliminate many of the currency costs, also currency risk in terms of foreign investments. But still, I believe we'll stand a bit better on the European map in terms of country, in terms of economy, which will be a bit more reliable as a partner for foreign investments. So in my opinion, it will be a good move, and we hope in the early June to see the report from the EU and see whether it will move forward or not.
Well, that's actually big news. The whole idea that Bulgaria is going to pick up the euro as its national currency. That's quite a shift. I mean, why would the shift jump on us? What's wrong with the current currency? I mean, yeah, you're going to attract more foreign currency capital markets. But why do you think this decision has been made?
Actually, in Bulgaria there is a currency board from a long year. So for us, it's more like a technical issue. Maybe more interesting is to discuss how this is going to concern the different type of businesses. And as far as Jordan is coming from the payment industry currently, probably it would be interesting to hear from him what is the impact he expects the change in the Eurozone will concern the payment industry. We can continue with Nikolay about the banking industry after that.
Thanks for the invitation, Michael and David. Happy to chat with you on these topics, guys. Can you hear me well first?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, good. As Michael said, it's not that we have not been part of the Eurozone so far, because we're in a currency board since late 90s. So we are used to this. We do not have that much currency risk at the moment. However, I have to say that in terms of payments, there are a lot of logistics like cross-reference courses, different payment wires, etc., that on one hand are hindering the local business for easily accessing external markets, but on the other hand are also preventing small players from large institutional payment providers. So it's a mixed effect that we are expecting. However, to put it like this, it's not a technical discussion, this one, it's strictly political. So, and politics I don't want to touch. I only want to touch the implications and or benefits if there are such. So yes, mid to long term, it's going to benefit everybody. Business, payment ecosystems, regulators, everybody will have their big, let's say, benefit out of it. In the short term, everybody will have a big pain in one particular place, including banks, including state agencies, including small players, because this is, including the regular business. Imagine a business has transactions that are happening this year, and payment accepted this year, but then there is something to be returned, or the transaction is with a longer maturity. For example, I don't know, you name it, the betting companies, for example. You bet on Real Madrid in September, and then we switch to Euro on the 1st of January. What happens then? Because Real Madrid is going to win the Champions League just in May, for example. But there are a lot of businesses with such larger transactions, not just betting. I mean, also in e-commerce, you have larger transactions, larger exposures. So it's going to be a challenge for everybody to transfer the balance sheets and then the currently ongoing things, and then shift the processes so that they can respect the entering of the Eurozone. But it's a logistical, let's say, enhancement or logistical bottleneck, not a game changer, in my humble opinion.
And how do you see it from bank perspective? Being engaged in this game for a long time ago, started with the expected coming of Eurozone in the banking industry.
David, Mihael, first, thanks for the invitation. In terms of Euro adoption, it's not black and white picture at all. There is not only positive or only negative. It depends of the point of view. Definitely, Bulgaria will be rise on the map of the different kind of businesses, because currently, at least there are small transactional cost, but with Euro there will be zero transactional cost, and will be more visible on the map of the investor, institutional investor, the other kind of investor, which will create some pressure on the local markets, definitely. From the other hand, from the business who is executing will be much better, because our banking system is far more regulated, times more regulated compared to European one. For example, minimum reserve for ECB is 1%, in Bulgaria is 10 plus. It depends of you are resident or not resident, which will give a lot of liquidity to the market. The other question is what will happen with this liquidity. And because there is several ways this liquidity to be lent or to be transferred somewhere else, not in Bulgaria. Why that I said there is no black and white, but definitely in terms of fintechs, in terms of payments, in terms of ecosystem, the market will become more efficient, more competitive, because the external competitors also will look in Bulgaria as a possible opportunity to scale the market, because Europe is quite fragile. A lot of country with 5-6 million people, which is not comparable for middle-sized Asian country. Why that we expect such development? But overall, let we see what will happen in a couple of days left. And to prepare ourselves, I think that all in Bulgaria are already very good prepared for the date of 1st of January to adopt the euro. But it's not black and white at all. Picture. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolay.
Yeah, may I?
Yeah, David, please.
Thank you. No, I mean, yeah, it's not black and white. Obviously, it's going to have effects. I mean, this has been introduced before in other European countries with varying results. I mean, in theory, it should have less monetary control. You'll have less monetary control in Bulgaria. I mean, what was the exact reason why to push for this now? Because Romania doesn't have the euro. It's the neighboring country. Why would Bulgaria specifically want to have the euro now? Like, what happened? Or was this just always in the cards and it just popped up? Anybody, any ideas here? Feel free to jump in.
This sounds more or less like a political question. If you ask the business, then the business could say, for us, euro is not necessary, but we are ready to accept it, and we're ready to shift from our local currency to euro, and this most probably will give us benefits. Of course, the risk with some negative effects which we see from other countries is always there. But the question you raise is why? No one from us could say why now. From the very beginning, from joining the European Union, for us, at least this was explained from our politicians, that joining the Eurozone is something like a last step to become a proper Europeans. And I really don't want to get into that discussion because this is a political thing. But it's, from my opinion, we are ready. We prepare ourselves like on a business-wise. We prepared ourselves for the last 2 years, definitely, and we're ready. And extending that period, I don't see it's necessary. So joining now maybe is the right thing if the report from European Commission is positive. This is what we're expecting in June.
Okay, so you don't.
To Svetoslav something, we are preparing for at least 2 years. We are postponing this on the map. We should be with Croatia, actually, with the Eurozone.
You're fully right. You're fully right.
Postponed this 2 years in a row in order to be more prepared. If you go into the deeper, we are currently facing all cohesion KPIs. I mean, not only the Maastricht 3 criteria, but the average income compared to average European, the healthy level of minimum 60%, etc., etc. Why that? This is not new for the business, for the society. It's 2 years at least articulated with pros and cons, etc. And it's pure political issue. Why now? In my opinion, we were ready into it. But
fully agree.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, I guess it's time eventually. I mean, it's been around. Bulgaria's been part of the euro for a while. It's in Schengen now, so it's not natural that it leads that eventually starts adopting the euro and becoming part of the eurozone. But the European Union is a big regulatory body. That is a big machine of regulations, for better or for worse. And then we have all the new ones coming in, MiCA, PSC 2, 3, all that stuff. I'm sure all of you are affected by it in some way or another. So, Michael, why don't you have your first? Sorry. What do you think initially?
Yeah, I wanted to transfer the discussion because we are on the topic with the euro, but there is another topic coming after the euro. This is the digital euro. I know it's still in a very early phase of discussion, but a lot of institution businesses are working on this slightly, and silently, but they're working on that. And for me, at least, I think, and for the auditor, it will be interesting to hear your opinion about, and the audience, your opinion about how digital euro is going to impact the financial ecosystem, or is it going to happen first? The question, according to your anticipation, and how it's going to affect the businesses. Because on one side, probably we are working on the digital euro, or on the other side, people are working on other technologies which could, I don't know, disrupt the digital currencies and so on and so on. So please, Jens, share your opinion on the topic. Probably we could start with Ivelin.
Okay. Well, from my view, the digital euro is still very far away, and this comes from the uncertainty that we hear from European institutions, and their level of readiness for adoption of this is probably still somewhere at the discussion level, though there is a project plan, as far as I know, to adopt it somewhere in the 2028 or something. I haven't seen personally any strong development in this topic. Otherwise, we, being a fully digital business, consider that such an option would be facilitating the business, and we're trying to put some efforts in our everyday business to reduce the level of cash transactions, because, as you know, in Bulgaria still the level of cash transaction is very high compared to banking transactions and other non-cash transaction. And I believe if once adopted, this will be a good sign for the businesses, even to facilitate those processes, being also a very fast way of payment, lower transactions, and kind of a more secure way to handle payments in a more direct way. But from my point of view, I don't see it very soon.
You don't see very soon as. Sorry?
You're done. What about the payment industry in the digital euro? Or you're more concerned about the effect of the decentralized?
No, we are already in the digital euro. How they print the money / not print, but like issue, it's not of our concern. Actually, could become a very could enhance our ability to due diligence transactions and customers, which would definitely make our business easier. So in this respect, I think it's okay, but it's again, and sorry for saying that, it's a political decision. I have been managing numerous functions in large banks, and on a couple of occasions for 4 or 5 years, I have been responsible for the cash management function. Believe me, it's a dirty business. I don't want to have normal money in my let's say wallet, neither in my current businesses. And if I were a central bank, I would try to get rid of this risk abundant and dirty in terms of really operational activity. It's just not 21st century like type of activity.
We have a modernist here. I guess you make a point. Sorry?
In that respect. Sorry to getting you a part of the discussion, but my question is: do you think that the financial system is ready for that? Do you think that the technical system first, financial technical system is ready first, and then do you think that the banks and other financial institutions, they are ready to accept the digital euro? I'm not talking about the end users. I'm talking about the system itself. I will explain why I'm asking, because as a fintech association, we were part of the discussion about the digital euro maybe from the very beginning. It was something like 5 years ago when the Euro Commission started to sending questionnaires. We send them to our members and then respond back, and then again and again and again. definitely the European bureaucrats, they still stay on the level of discussions. They do not have certainty whether this will harm the financial system, implementation of digital euro, or not. Even we, being part of the discussion since the very beginning, we don't know any specifications which they see for the European euro. But what we understand is that their main concern is that the financial system is not ready, neither technically nor organizationally, to accept the digital euro. What do you think about this?
I want to hear Nikolay having a view from the bank side, because this is very concerning the bank industry.
It's a tough question. It's a tough question because it's a very dangerous game in terms of liquidity. It depends on the country. Why? If we consider there were discussions on the European level, what will be the maximum amount per individuals to keep in the digital euro? If, for example, it's 10,000 euro, just imagine 95% of the deposit in Bulgaria is up to 10,000 euro, which can deliquid the financial system, which is suicidal from our end. This is from Bulgaria perspective. If we go into the Germany perspective, maybe 10,000 euro is okay. But from their perspective, 2,000 euro is a very small amount. It's a one annual or one monthly rent, for example. By that, it's not so easy because Europe is not still. We have still room for cohesion to this digital euro. Definitely, they are pushed by the other central bank digital asset issue it, and they will do it. But the Europe still have huge differences in terms of financial systems. And when we go to the institution, is one hand, but when we discuss in the individuals, private individuals, is the other hand. The other huge topic is how they will protect this digital euro from fraud schemes, different kind, because digital literacy, it's not on the highest level in Europe at all. Well, there are many questions, but definitely the market will go in, the regulation will go in that direction, because otherwise the individuals start buying digital currency from the other countries. It's digital asset in the end of the day. Why that it's not the easy question at all for the Europe, because huge differences in the different financial systems are in place. Huge, and it's not a game for 10 or 20 or 50 years even to see the cohesion.
Jordan, I see you having an opinion there. Leaning in, thinking of something.
Yes, I fully support Nikolay's opinion. And here we're not talking about really replacing cash. Cash should always remain there as a reserve currency, because systems fail, electricity fail. We saw what happened in Spain. Cash should remain there. And in this scenario where we have low financial literacy, obviously cash should be there to support these guys. But from what we have seen in more advanced economies, cash is really only held to have a backup scenario, and or is becoming really expensive to pay with cash. Actually, they charge you. In many places, you just cannot buy a coffee with cash. People do not want to touch it. Sorry for going back to the dirty part and bacteria part, but I fully support what Nikolay said. Yet cash will remain, at least for, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Example from Norway. I met a colleague from EDFA yesterday. He's from Norway. So we know that Norway tried to fully remove the cash. And actually what happened is exactly what you, Jordan, said. They remove it. You cannot buy cash, or you can't buy at the shop with the cash. And even he gave a very good example that his daughter, who is 6 years old, received it at the school as a refund for something banknote. And she returned back home saying, Mom and Dad, this is a note from some paper note from a school. She really doesn't know what does it mean. For her, this is a paper. For her, the money are only coins, because this is what the child could understand, but the paper may not. Even though he said that in the remote areas, without cash, the economy could not survive. That's why now they are thinking, and because the cash, having cash and transporting cash and supporting cash is really expensive, now the states start thinking how to change the regime for the areas which are remote, because for them, obviously, the digital thing doesn't work very well. And this is an example why you're right and why it's not easy to fully digitalize the money. And maybe this is also one of the reasons why we at Europe are not ready, but not only in Europe, I believe, everywhere in the world is like that. Poor people, they are not included in our system. This is another example. They don't have bank accounts. So how we could make them have digital accounts in order to have digital currency? This is also a question which I don't see a response answer about that. So there are many like this, and digital euro is okay. I mean, Europeans started, at least European bureaucracy started saying we need to be independent, even digitally, which is all right, sounds good. But at the end, it sounds not really good for the economy at that stage. And being a fintech, for us, it's we see the potential, and our members, they see the potential. We want to be part of that. And if the digital euro is there, definitely our businesses will benefit from it. But on a society level, many questions with no answers.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, if you consider that cash is getting more difficult to accept, and you have unbanked people still in the southeast corner of Europe, there is, of course, the new push to create, cards with their own wallets attached, loyalty cards with wallets, and the proliferation of digital wallet schemes, which are in fact mini bank accounts, right? That, in a way, would support the proliferation of the digital euro, and you could give a kid a little card, and that card is his bank account, and he pays with the card, and that becomes new money. But it's up to you. There are many ways to look at this. Right? So yes, I mean, we all deal in euros. We all deal in this, but obviously also regulation is a topic. So Michael, please, you have any other thoughts on that? Please pick it up.
Yeah, because we discussed the Eurozone, it's the digital euro, it will come as a type of regulation, of course, but there are another regulations which are expected to come more sooner than the digital euro. They're already public, and some of them were expected to come in power in the previous year. They were delayed. We are talking about PSD3, PSR, about FIDA, which is still in a discussion. What's your opinion on this topic, guys? How do you see it? Probably we could start also with Svetlo, because he's involved in this process from the very early discussions in EDFA and from the legal perspective. And after that, we can continue with the other aspect of the financial ecosystem. What do you expect to happen with this?
So these topics, they're good to be also connected as a discussion on the digital euro. So compared to digital euro, all these discussions, they are making the fintech ecosystem, the fintech system works better. Let's say that works better for the end consumers and also for the players, and also for the regulators. This is also part of it. We see that the new regulations coming, they are actually the development of what we already know. And the good thing, which I could say, is that this time the bureaucrats they understood where is the problem for the business. And for example, with PSD3, they really try to solve some problems existing with PSD2. So again, I see that all the new regulations, they will be on a benefit. They will be for good for our system, and they will allow our members to really. When I say our members, there is a difference between the traditional banks, big fintechs, and small startups. So when I say that, I mean startup companies which needs fast entrance into the system and at the market. So knowing this, new regulations will allow the startup companies and the new coming fintech companies to be much more faster and much faster and much more ready to provide proper service to the end users. This is just a general thing I would say.
And then, do you think these two regulations, three actually, will concern your business as a leading non-bank financing institution in Bulgaria?
Well, I can comment those three regulations more from the side of a user, since we are not dealing with payments on our own. We are more dealing with the lending part of the business, but still we have to use such services, and we are affected by them somehow. And people who know me, you say that I'm one of the biggest advocates of open banking, and I'm trying to apply the capabilities of these services to different business processes and different lines in the business that we have. And I really see how those legislation acts are trying to develop some current state problems, but still, just as a user of open banking services, I see some problems and some potential that still needs to be solved. But I'm not sure if this will be solved simply by a regulation, or it will be a mixed activity by the regulator and the participants on the market. And saying this, I mean that we implemented such services in our businesses, and this was an idea how we can be more efficient, since we have many transactions daily. And before open banking initiatives to be implemented, we still used a huge amount of working hours by a person who reconciliates somehow those transactions, put them into the system, etc. And now with open banking, we automate all of the process, both for payouts and both for incoming payments, and this saves a lot. However, what I can share is most of the banks that we work with here in our market are only doing the minimum part to meet this regulation. And unfortunately, sometimes this minimum coverage, those requirements hurts us as a business who use such services. And I could give an example with one of the banks that we work with. They decided to improve some part of their backend systems that is directly connected with this open banking channel. And in the process, they didn't provide sufficient information to the PSP provider. Respectively, we didn't receive any notice of such changes, and the decimal place of the figures that we received on this direct channel was moved. And for instance, 300 equivalent of payment, we receive it as 3,000, and this causes a huge mess just because everything is automated. And this is just one example how there needs to be a bit more precise kind of improvement in the process. Otherwise, regulations are here to probably create a better ecosystem and better rules, but still it's the market participants and the way they implement them in their everyday business.
And Nikolay, do you think that this time the bank industry will jump in this regulation as conservative as it was in with PSD2, or they will be more, how to say, more innovative to adopt it early and to start use it and to bring value to the customers, even for companies like Credissimo, for companies like PayMan?
It depends of the strategy for each banks. Currently, there are not only those three regulations are in place. Currently, the banking sector is in front of regulatory tsunami, which will change or should change some concentration and to liberate the market in terms of customer data, using of customer data. Because one regulation is born because the future should be changed if we compare to the existing one. This is the basically how different players will react. It depends of their strategy. But definitely PSD2 is too early, and we cannot compare it to PSD2 because currently we are facing digital identity in place. We are facing even more important than PSD3 different regulation who are directly address the customer data, who own the data, and what they can do with the data, which is the game changer. For that, I think that we'll see a couple of strategy. Also, so many regulation are leads from the other hands to concentration of the market because so many banks with so many regulations, it's a cost in the end of the day. And to adjust constantly your strategy, it's constant. By that, this is the next level of pushing banking to concentrate the business and to consolidate the sector from one hand. For the other hand, a lot of banks already see the fintech as real competition, real competitors, not only some players that are testing the market. We have players here in Bulgaria with 50% in penetration in banking population, which means that some of the bank definitely will adopt open banking in order to compete with the already bigger owner of the data, because 50% of the banking population is one of the biggest owner of the data in Bulgaria. It doesn't matter is this a banking, telcos, etc. You are a owner of the data, and with this data, and AI and the others too, you can say everything to everyone. In that way, by that we see a different approach from the bank. Everyone start to prepare a beyond banking strategy that will show that the bank are preparing to implement tools that goes beyond their cash payments, lending, transactions. This is from the bank side. If we look from the fintech neobank perspective, I think that there is a huge room for revenue and for gaining of the client. There is a huge room because we see what done on our market without even implement lending, consumer loan, etc., which we see near to us market. They are already implement services with such a limited scope, free payments and the card tokenization. You have 50% banking population. Just imagine if you have pricing leadership in consumer loan, because you are effective, you don't have a lot of OpEx, etc., etc. And this is a very serious question that a lot of serious bankers on the senior level are thinking about that. What will happen? Why that it's not the game? It's not like PSD2. PSD3 comes with the other regulation, which is very similar, and which can change the business itself as a model. And we shouldn't forget that the Gen Z, they are already on the lending market. Gen Z. Of course, we discussed Gen Z, they're on the market. They are currently borrowing consumer loan, they have credit cards. Some of them already have mortgage loans, and why that their expectation how to approach their financial delivery companies. I don't say banks because you can receive the financial needs by not a bank in the end of the day. It's completely different to traditional one. But that this is the main factor that, in my opinion, will lead to a different strategy from different players. Some of players will do typically nothing and just wait to came the next regulation. But this time, I think that more proactive will change the behavior because it's not only at PSD on the surface.
You're done.
Excellent. All right.
And I wanted to hear also you're done because he's deeply involved in the payment industry. And what do you think, Jordan, on the topic with PSR and PSD3?
PSD2 had numerous flaws. It was a great instrument in terms of ideology, but had numerous flaws. So PSD3 practically fixes them. The point is that a critical item in the concept are the banks, as Ivelin mentioned, and their focus is not at all there. So there is a clash between what regulators are trying to do for the consumers, what the consumers are ready to face in their with their behavior, and then what banks, which are going to be used mostly as an infrastructure in this PSD 2 and 3, are going to do. Banks are understanding that opening their APIs / giving access to externals to their data could be an opportunity, but most likely will also be a threat, and therefore they're absolutely not eager to help on that. However, there are some players that would like to let's say invest in this area. I'm only referring to the banks, but these are the players that do not have sufficient muscles and competences and capabilities to develop that. So it's a very, very mixed concept. Probably it was a bit too early for it, but I believe that if the regulators are continuing to keep the focus there, sooner or later we will reach the breaking point, and from there onwards it's going to be exponential. That's clearly the future. I believe that now with the kind of separation between the Western world, and here I mean US and Europe mostly, and the desire of the European regulators to shift from the card schemes to a more practical payment terms. Actually, PSD3 could be a huge toolkit in the hands of the central banks to force and to, let's say, speed up this transition. So that's my opinion. It's a good thing, but very, very complex with mixed interests in it.
Thank you.
And probably when we speak about regulations here in the financial sector, we're also quite affected, as Nikolay said, various regulations. We should probably mention the effect of DORA on these two, as those are some critical regulations on security, internet security, information security, cyber attacks, etc., which are also critical. And when implemented, started to work effectively with the market participants, probably should add up to the previous topics as well. So probably this will give more comfort, although they're quite heavy to be met.
Perfect. Thank you, Ivelin. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Mihael. Thank you to Nikolay and Svetoslav. Sorry, I'm very bad with these names. But thank you very much for joining us and spending time for CE Fintech Tour. Thank you for presenting Bulgaria, and thank you for the interesting topics and insights in these interesting conversations of what's going on. Digital euro for Bulgaria, the currency changes, the regulations. All very, very, very intelligent and necessary conversations in our time. Thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you at UNCHAIN, 17th, 18th of June. It's coming. So, Michael, you'll be there for sure, right?
Yes.
Excellent. So I'll see you in a month in Oradea at UNCHAIN. Thank you for joining us today for Bulgarian CE Fintech Tour. And I'll see you in Oradea, 17th, 18th of June, and on our next edition of CE Fintech Tour. Thank you. Bye.